Greetings, Islam, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, and all the many chantings of peace throughout all the human family. I am Brother Fonte SL, and welcome to my channel, New Titan 888. Today we'll discuss XRP, Ripple, the NSA, and the brilliant cryptographer, David Schwartz. Let us begin. From a Signal article in 2007 by Henry S. Kenyon, it states, modernization closes the interoperability gap. Here's this word again, and I'm going to show you further that it has everything to do with national security as well as military, same thing. In the highlighted yellow here, it says, a major goal of the National Security Agency cryptographic modernization program is to promote the use of new cryptography applications designed to enhance interoperability, communications during coalition operations such as this joint U.S.-Japanese naval exercise. Cryptographic standards often limit secure communications and data sharing between allied forces. So they're saying that this is everything to do with military interoperability. We'll read further. It says, the U.S. military is moving its cryptographic capabilities into the 21st century, and a major program to replace and upgrade legacy equipment and systems. Who always speaks about this? I'm going to read it to you again. It says, the U.S. military is, remember, this is in 2007. The U.S. military is moving its cryptographic capabilities into the 21st century with a major program to replace and upgrade legacy equipment and systems. Who's always talking about the upgrade and replacement of legacy systems? Could that be the chief technical officer, the brilliant scientist, Mr. David Schwartz? Of course it is. And he has a history with the National Security Agency, the NSA. He used to work for them. I'm going to go over here to a Forbes article. This is a Forbes article. This is in 2018. From an early age, David Schwartz was obsessed with door knocks and locks. At age 5, he would use a screwdriver to dismantle them, removing them from household doors so that family photos showing gaping holes where the knobs should be. He likes making sure that, he likes getting into things. So let's scroll down further here. We talk about Swift, and they also call him Ripple's $1 trillion man. That means that he's definitely high value. They put a value on him because he's very important to, again, modernizing and closing the interoperability gap. But I'll go back over to this article. Let's scroll down here and find something else that he talks about. And thank you for coming out today. Let me see what we have here. Okay. In 1992, Schwartz and his father, a doctor of internal medicine, co-founded a medical technology company that developed a non-invasive device for recording data about heart murmurs. The product didn't sell well, but demand for programmers rose during the dot-com era, and Schwartz pursued a number of network-related programming positions. It says, meanwhile, he was getting interested in cryptography. This is in 1992. It says, meanwhile, he became interested in cryptography. Let's read on. It says, meanwhile, he was getting interested in cryptography. In 2001, he landed at a company in Santa Clara, California called Webmaster Inc., where he helped design an early cloud-based storage system. During this decade, there he also consulted for the National Security Agency, the NSA. And remember, Interoperability has everything to do with military. I'm saying all this to let you know that a lot of people call Ripple a failed company. I think not. I think that Ripple is absolutely massive to the infrastructure of the world. This is bigger than what people think. I mean, absolutely huge. We're going to go further. It says Ripple CEO. This is in an article from Crypto Briefings. Ripple CEO aims to dismantle legacy cross-border payments infrastructure. Here again, and I guarantee you if you read further into this article, we're going to talk about interoperability. The infrastructure, in order to even dismantle any infrastructure that would have to do with the NSA, the internet, so on and so forth, he would have to have a permission from a higher authority. So if anyone thinks that Jay Clayton is causing any problem for someone on this level, I think not. I think he's in bed with them all, and it's just a plan. I also feel that the U.S. is not far behind at all. Just told you he's been doing this since 1992. Wow. That's a long time. That makes me believe that the Bitcoin that people are so excited about is probably the same created by the NSA. You have all of these things in place. This is not conspiracy. It's right here in front of you. You can go to military journal after military journal. You can go to online records of the Department of Defense and see and read these very things. Ripple, as a corporation company, is absolutely massive. And anyone invested in it, this is not financial advice, this is just me from my reading. Anyone invested in this company more than likely is going to make quite a bit of finance. Ripple is absolutely massive. I heard people say it's a failed project. Not. It is just a project that knows how to keep secrets in plain sight. There is no Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the antiquated technology that they use for testing grounds to track and trace people around the globe. Like I told you on The Simpsons, on the episode about cryptocurrency, it says for tracking, it's a ledger. It can see everything you do. If anyone has had accounting in school, a ledger, but this is a different ledger. No human being can make an error. This is an AI or computer that is entering into the ledger. Ripple Labs declares war. Why are they saying that word again? Because there's different stages of war. Just like I read to you earlier, I'll go back to it again. On the modernization closes the interoperability gap. Here highlighted in the yellow, it says a major goal of the National Security Agency's cryptographic modernization program is to promote the use of new cryptography applications designed to enhance interoperability and communications during coalition operations such as the joint U.S.-Japanese naval exercise. It's talking about allies. So there's different levels to war. War doesn't always have to be physical. War oftentimes is the preparation. Period. I hear people often say that, they always say, I'm playing chess, not checkers. Well, I feel differently about that. I think that checkers in itself is a more advanced game. Because no soldier got to the chessboard without having passed the checkerboard. And any man that came from poverty or peonage as a soldier on a checkerboard that rose to be a king is definitely a king, period. That means that he was a foot soldier on up. It is just a transition to the next board. Military science is a lovely thing. If you don't have a bookshelf with regard to military science, you should get one. Another factor behind the NSA's transformation is the accelerating pace of technology change, which is moving too quickly to allow the agency to customize solutions constantly. What year is this again? 2007. They're talking about the pace at which it is moving. But when we listen to what's his name, Jerome Powell speak, he speaks as though they're way behind and they're barely understanding anything to do with this technology. And Jay Clayton is stepping up and he's doing what to Ripple? Or maybe he's just doing what he was told to do. Because Ripple is an absolute beast that was meant to secure and create interoperability. That means across the board. That's why you always see them say over and over again, a level playing field. These phrases definitely echo across the board because they mean something. It says, you know what? Just like a digital asset investor always tells you. That's another great channel. That's a very informed human being right there. You can tell he reads an awful lot and he knows exactly what he's holding. He's holding something gargantuan. And I must give him all type of respect for it. That's a definite. Another channel I'd like to give respect to. Again, I got to give a shout out to XRP Bags. Great channel. Great information. Always informative. XRP Chiz. Mickey B. Fresh. What is it? Backup Bradley. That's all great channels for newcomers that are wanting to learn. Those are the people that you should go to learn because they're not giving you a bunch of ignorance. They're giving you something that you can sink your teeth into to make sound decisions. Let's read further about Mr. David Schwartz here. Okay. It says, National Security Agency, helping integrate the agency's networking software with the existing security and public key infrastructure technology. In other words, Schwartz was gaining a working knowledge of cryptography at a high level. It was a fantastic experience, Schwartz says. Remember, this is in 1992. And why does Ripple have a phrase of interoperability? Because it's bigger than what everyone thinks. It is absolutely massive. And I guarantee you, nothing short of, I'll say this, every investment has a risk to it. Other people are not going to tell you the risk, but I'm going to tell you the risk. And if you're willing to take that risk, the payout will absolutely be massive. And I'm going to tell you what the risk is, because no one ever will tell you what the risk is. The risk is they can take it from you and say that it's a matter of national security. They can take the tokens from you and say that it is a matter of national security. But if you got some cojones and you're willing to take the risk, you're going to be made colossally wealthy. I don't think they're going to take it from you. I heard Jay Clayton on stage once say to Brad Garland House, we'll just give them their money. He said, we'll make them an offer to give them their money back. Well, I'm going to tell you what an offer is. Do you have to accept every offer that's handed to you? Of course not. It's an offer. You can't take anything from you without due process. It's an offer. So if you understand that it's an offer, you don't have to accept the offer. You can keep your crypto because they know that there's going to be crypto in some wallets that are cold storage wallets that they just can't get to. They understand that. Why else would they do a snapshot of everybody's wallet? You think they just love you and want to give you some flair, some spark? No, they're tracking. They're seeing how many people have this valuable asset in which they're going to need every bit of it to do what they're planning on doing. One XRP has 1 million drops. Why would they go through so much trouble? Why would this brilliant scientist right here go through that much trouble? Why would he go through that much trouble? Why would he be with the NSA? How could he work on legacy infrastructure without permission from someone? And then in walks Gary Gensler, looking like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. But I'm not talking bad about him. It's just the truth. I'm just joking. He's put there to bring in regulatory clarity. Of course he is. Of course he is. Of course he's going to bring in regulations. It's all a show. It's all a show. No one's going to give up their hands in war. Who would give up their hand in war? But they always do things in plain sight for those who have eyes to see. Not these eyes, this eye right here. Let me see if we have any questions. Oh, loud. I was thinking the same thing. XLM technology is just as great. You're nailed it on the head. XLM technology has a major function as well. Those logos mean something. When people are creating these logos, like the logo, when the logos by the cryptocurrency, they're very valuable. They have a meaning. That not just anyone is creating them. They're having people that create these things that use both hemispheres of their brain, and they're paid very well for doing so. These logos mean something. The Stellar logo definitely means something. Stellar is going to be major. Stellar, the atmosphere. It's telling you what it's going to do. Because you can tell the difference between some logo that just has very little value and the person who created it didn't have much knowledge of higher understanding and occult knowledge, that is. Stellar is going to be a beast. Stellar is a beast. Oh, they're fighting with each other? Ha, ha, ha. I'm going to tell you something. Years ago, I remember being in Nashville, Tennessee. I used to be a country and western singer when I worked on ranches. And I was in Nashville in the UA Towers. That's the United Artists Towers. I remember being there. This is years ago. And it was another place that I got to be around. In my lifetime, I've been lucky to be around a few billionaires. And this particular instance, this guy was worth about $100 million. He wasn't a billionaire, but at that time, that's a lot of money. He owned tugboats in Australia. And I remember talking to a guy named Bud. I'll just say his name, Bud Breeden. And I remember him, he took me under his wing to teach me some things about Nashville, how Nashville operates. And a lot of these music industry are operated and run by, we'll just say, organizations run these companies. And I remember seeing the guys doing business dealings. When there was some peon or some small person, they immediately got a contract. But when there was wealthy men in the room, they just spoke and shook their hand. And I asked Bud, I said, hey, Bud, why is it that you don't get a contract with him? And he said, rich people, these are people who are very wealthy. Their circle is too small for them to burn each other because no one will do business with them anymore. And that taught me even further a valuable lesson. You think these factions of industry are just fighting like that? Even if they are fighting and have a disagreement, they're not going to disagree to the point where it's going to affect the sound money. It would never happen. It doesn't work that way. Their circle is too small. And now we're getting ready to soon be a part of that circle. Let me see what else we have here. Let me see what we have here. He could pay for some extra hair. Oh my goodness gracious. What do you mean by XRP has 1 million drops? One XRP has 1 million drops. That's how it's broken down. Meaning fractionalized for micropayments. That's what I mean. Fractionalized for micropayments. Explain about all-seeing eye. Not too much, but a little. You mean like the eye of Horus? You mean the explain the all-seeing eye? How could I explain that? When you say explain it, in what context? How would you want me to explain it to you? It definitely is in occult knowledge. In this particular instance, let me see how I could explain that. The all-seeing eye. Well, you can say it has everything to do with occult science and secret society. You may want to start with the Book of Thought. It can give you some beginning understanding of it. It has everything to do with masonry. Masonry, if you want to know, because that's what basically he's asking. Masonry, like there's European Freemasons, and then there's a Mason like myself. I'm a Mason, meaning coming from my mother. the womb of woman, mother and son. That's a Mason. Meaning I have a navel and my mother's umbilical cord was attached. My mother's umbilical cord attached me to that. That is a Mason. Mother and son. That means I was born of womb man, first man. That's a Mason. Then European Freemason is something totally different. If that's what you're asking. That has everything to do with the all-seeing eye. Let me see what we have here. What exactly is XRP, is XLPR? You know what? For when you're wanting other information, I like to send people to other people's channel that are very informative. That's where you should go to, either Mickey B. Fresh or my brother XRP Bags. He has lots of videos that'll keep you informed about these questions that you're asking here. On my channel, I do decoding. I don't really go into those things, though I may be aware of it. It's easy for me to send you over to XRP Bags, whose channel is already equipped with all of that information. He'll have videos to help you set up things to do with different like flare finance and other things of that nature. He can prepare you heavily for that. Let's see what else we have here. 26 May can be taking these glasses off. Forgive me. It says XLM technology is just as great. Smash that likes, but I would appreciate that. Please hit the thumbs up if you will. The content that I'm bringing, I hope that it's helping people. I hope that it is informative and helping you to make a more informed decision with regard to your investment, or is muse enough that you may want to do further research on your own. What do you think about these two movies? They Live in the Matrix. Well, I already did something on the Matrix. I list every video as part one because there's so much in a movie that we can go over in different phases. They Live. I don't know that one yet, or maybe I do. I have to look it up. I think I have an understanding of which movie that you're talking about. I'll go over that. I'll definitely go over that. We'll go further to talk about the Grateful Dead song Ripple. You know, we have the World Economic Forum. The reason why they utilize the Grateful Dead is because they know that, like the World Economic Forum tells you, you'll own nothing and be happy. So he's saying the Grateful Dead, that means the status of the people was reduced, as I said before, to civil litter mortuus, dead in the view of the law. That means that but now in a more technical and digital phase of it. It says Aztec and Mayan calendar, very important at this time. We also have, they will be able to do less than 0% rates with XRP. We have here, from History Repeats. Hi, I haven't been that long in the crypto space and don't have a lot of room for savings. What amount of XRP is needed to get the benefits in the near future? From what I read, this is just my personal opinion, I really feel that if you have 3 XRP, you're going to be better off than most people. Because if you have 3 XRP and you mint that XRP with Flare, you're going to be paid residuals on a continued basis. Where as opposed to most people having to live off of universal basic income. Because universal basic income will be issued to all, rich or poor, because they want you all to take it in order for you to be under their thumb. But you don't have to accept it. Because remember, if you don't use it within a certain matter of time, more than likely it will dissipate. Because this is all meant for you to stimulate the economy, to do what they want you to do, or they will remove it from you. But we're smart. We're ahead of the game. We're thinking for ourselves. We're vibrating on another level in frequency that we are able to communicate, with the universe to implement things with regard to investing better. Swift. Let me say Swift. The official cyber monkey, Swift. What do you have about Swift? Yeah, it also speaks about Swift in this article. It says we want to create a payment network like Swift, but one where the settlement the actual movement of money, the actual plumbing underneath the surface would be a decentralized open network. This is what David Schwartz is telling you. The end game is just money moving invisibly as easily as information. Why would this not happen? We sit here on this internet right now. We don't even think about how it functions anymore. I was actually very lucky many years ago in Danville, California. I was with one of the first person to make infomercials named Steve DeVore. I was at his home, and I remember my father was doing an infomercial with him at the time, and I remember we went over to his house in Danville, and he lived in a huge mansion. And I remember I asked him, could I go to the restroom? And he said, yeah, he said right down the hall. And I remember getting lost a little bit, but I stopped at these huge, massive doors. And there down the hall there, in his office was a computer. And on that screen was Prodigy. And I just stopped there and stared. And Steve came down the hall and said, I thought you may have gotten lost. And I said, no, what's that? He's like, you like computers? I said, I love computers. I said, I was one of the first people in my neighborhood to have a computer. My mother had an American Express card. And in the magazines, they would sell these computers. And I had an Amstrad 1512, I believe it was. And I was into computers. And I looked down the lane there and I saw that computer. And I saw it said Prodigy. And he said, and he called me Chuck. That's what my family called me. He said, hey, yeah, you can go look at it. It's not much to do on it. So there's only like 4 other people that are on here. Yeah, I have a lot of little Forrest Gump moments in my life where I've gotten, because I'm an adventurous person, I've got to meet a few people and do a few things. And so I got the opportunity to see the internet when really few people were on it. I saw that screen. He said, there's not much to do on it. And it was a little screensaver type of thing that was there, if you can call it that. But yeah, it just lets me know how far it has grown. It was a lot of years ago. And I'm saying that to say, at that time, it was a big deal and you thought about it. But now we don't even think about how it functions. It's just a click. It's just a click, 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 click. Now they're going to make the movement of money just a click. That's absolutely amazing. You don't think that that's not going to move forward beyond Swift? They had a clear goal in mind. That's why Rosie Ruiz from the Treasury Department is working with them. Why is that so? Maybe she's needed to sign something. Maybe she's needed to be there digitally. To sign what they claim is a digital signature. Maybe she needs to sign something. She signed all of those notes. Maybe she needs to sign something there too. There's a reason for everything. They're not going to just come outright and tell you what it is, but they're talking about the movement of money. Lots of money. 1 million drops in an XRP. Why would they break it down that fractional? Something very powerful is getting ready to happen, and we are a part of it. We are the pioneers, the vanguard of it, which is a very important thing. Let's see what we have here. Thank you for your explanations. I don't mind giving them to you. I appreciate it. No man's a prophet in his own land. What I mean by that is no one likes to hear me around here. My wife turns around and says, can you shut up talking? So if you all are willing to listen to me talk, I'm willing to talk. I appreciate being able to explain these things to you and researching. This means a lot to me. I'm not going to go in much further than this, but I wanted to spend the time to run this by you. You can find these articles yourself and do further research. And I hope this may give you a greater understanding about Ripple, XRP, to go and do some research with regard to the NSA, the brilliant scientist known as David Schwartz, and XRP, the company. And again, even further research with the Grateful Dead song and its association with the World Economic Forum, meaning how all these things come into play and the correlation of all of these things. Very powerful message behind all of these things because they speak to you in signs and symbols. Symboliography. Very important word. That has everything to do with that eye that you're talking about. Symbolography. Signs and symbols. The movies speak to you in signs and symbols. Like in the movies, when somebody is heading into the future, they'll show a path. They always start at the top of a building, showing you who's in charge at that time. It may show you a crescent and a star. It may show you a cross on top of the buildings at the beginning of the movies. They always do that, giving you the correlation in the circa, the time period. So movies, understanding movie structure. You may want to do some research with regard to that. Understanding movie structure, how movies are laid out, will also help you to understand how to decode and decipher lots of these articles and videos and cartoons. It will help you out a lot. I am Brother Fonte SL, also known as New Titan 888. Thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. And for an opportunity to win 888 XRP, like and subscribe and comment.